putting the spotlight on local businesses in the capital city. This is 402 Business Insider with Travis Filing and Gary Tharnish on 1499.3 KLIN.
Good morning, Lincoln. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider, sponsored by Sartor Heyman Jewelers and the Cabin Indoor Virtual Golf. I'm Travis Filing with Transformation Marketing. With me, as always, Gary Tharnish from Home Design Real Estate Group. How you doing today, Gary?
I'm doing good. Just selling homes, building homes, like just doing all the fun stuff these days.
There we go.
Yeah.
And market's still doing good?
You know, it's great. There's a lot of houses on the market now, which is great. I mean, when I first started, there were maybe, you'd be lucky if there'd be 120 any given day. It was just a nightmare to help people find homes. Now we have over 1,000. Should be about 2,500 a day, but we're up over 1,000 now. So the choices are much better. People can have time to make a decision too. I always hated that at first, where it's like, man, like you people got to make a decision like
quick,
immediately. And then it's a multiple offer. So yeah, so the market's good that way.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a buyer, it's great. Well,
I couldn't imagine the stress, because when we buy houses, it's kind of one of those, here's the price. Can you give us more? No, not really. Not,
okay.
You know,
Let's get real, Travis. When you buy houses and I go along, I need to bring a hazmat suit.
Yes.
Because you're going to gut the thing and replay. Literally, they had a basement. I go, I'm not going in that basement.
Yeah.
I know I'm the realtor and I should, but I'm going back outside.
Yeah. And he always brings a mask and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And Rachel Barth is our guest today. She's actually driven past. She stopped because she's a member of the cabin.
I do. I am. And I saw you out there. I was like, hey, Travis.
That's funny.
Okay?
I didn't invite her in.
Yeah.
It was
he
not,
kind of met me on the road,
Yeah.
which is probably okay.
Smart. I love it.
Well, let's kick off with our business lesson in the news. The one thing that it's just on top of us. It's constant. It's the government shutdown. Everybody.
Oh boy, is it?
Oh man, isn't it? It's. I don't know. To me, you're almost numb to it. Every 6 months, the government's going to shut down. Well, then shut it down, and they shut it down. And does it suck? Yeah, but is it that bad? I mean, for some people, it is. But I look at this and go, okay, what's the business lesson in this? And when you
for me, real quick,
please,
the business lesson would be, if you have non-essential employees, what?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Wait, what?
That always gets
That's a
me.
phrase that always gets me. Like, it's kind of like going to the bank going, yeah, I might pay it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, for somebody that works at the airport, I need those essential employees, or we don't have an airport.
Yeah,
so.
well, but who would
exactly.
be non-essential?
Yeah,
I mean, even the person, would security be non-essential? No, they're pretty essential. The people running the coffee shop, yeah, they're pretty essential, especially first thing in the morning. Yeah. I mean, what's a non-essential employee?
It is insane, because if you look at, the FAA and how we do a lot of the building of the airport and airport stuff, like our runway project, right? We just have that coming up. The person that cuts the check is not there.
Yep.
So the funding is there. We can start construction,
but
the person that actually takes care of the accounting piece and cutting the checks to pay the contractors is not there.
Yeah,
that's
non-essential.
Crazy.
Non-essential.
Why would you need
Who
money
needs
to
checks?
run a business?
Who needs paid?
I think so. Right. It's going to come down to food, right? SNAP benefits and all that. When that starts going away, that'll be the big riot act. And then housing. Housing is 20% of the United States economy. So you have your FHA, VA, USDA loans. If you're in the middle of it right now, I have 2 clients in the middle of those types of loans. We're fine. We're already under contract. That's done. Week from now, depending on how long it goes, like what's going to happen when I need to turn in a NIFA file or an FHA file, and that person that originates that is non-essential,
right?
To the government,
and we're a month into it.
Yeah.
And the killer is, can you blame the Republicans? Yes. Can you blame the Democrats? Yes, because we've had this problem for as long as I can remember, 20, 30 years.
Well, imagine running, and which is an oxymoron in itself, thinking the government will ever run as a business. But imagine this being your business. How would the airport be if you ran like this, right? Here's how it would be.
Anything.
We'd all be sitting in the parking lot, not off the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
We'd all be on, some type of food line, because we wouldn't have a business. I promise you that.
So,
hey, and Rachel, some point in time, I have to tell you the story about the bomb squad being called on me in Prague. You'll love that.
Oh, yeah. At the airport.
There's a little stressor for you someday.
Sat onto the stress. It's fine. But I wanted to comment on that real quick about the government shutdown, because obviously we have the FAA tower employees incredibly essential. I mean, you're a past pilot. They keep our skies safe, right?
They were pretty important to my operation.
I would think so.
They're pretty important about any pilot who cares about that. And then you have your TSA workers, and whatever you feel about the TSA, political, non-political, they are incredibly important to the airport and keep us safe. When you see them coming to work and showing up day in and day out, knowing they are not receiving a paycheck, it does start to wear on you. Yeah. And as you're starting to approach seeing, okay, they may not be getting that second paycheck. And what we're seeing across the industry is that there are airports where people are calling in sick and not showing up. We have not seen that here, luckily, but it's happening. And if they start deciding to do that because they have to quit and go find a job because all of a sudden they're not getting their paychecks, or they're worried about, again, food security and how they're going to pay their bills, we won't have an airport to operate. Yeah. And I don't think people quite understand that. And so us putting up we love TSA signs, and I think a lot of Lincoln knows that we're trying to provide meals for them, and we're doing as much as we can to make them feel loved and supported. There's only so much we can do, right? But when you get to that and you see these people come in, I've had people be like, I completely forgot they're not getting paid. And I'm like, it is like a reality check. So, hey, if they are a little snippy with you, that's because they woke up this morning and don't know if they can pay their damn mortgage, right? Yeah. They don't know if they can pay their bills. And that is super scary. And I see it every day. A lot of people don't. And then these passengers are like, oh my gosh, your TSA has been so great. And they're being so kind. But I literally had somebody this morning tell me, I flew through Atlanta last week, and their TSA is not fine. Their TSA is very on edge because there is so many more federal workers in Atlanta than here. But still, it's just like, gosh, could you imagine waking up and just not knowing day after day when this nightmare is going to be over and how you're going to pay your bills?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, what is statistic? There you go.
Well said.
Word. Of the number of people that are paycheck to paycheck, right?
Oh, yeah.
In any socioeconomic amount. I don't care if you're a millionaire and you have your house payment of $15,000, whatever it might be. Yeah. There's a lot of people that are just 1-2 paychecks away from that's it. Yeah. And they're approaching that, right? I mean, if not already there. So
when we talk about that, I mean, not to bring up Dave Ramsey, but literally that's the Dave Ramsey principles is learning not to do that paycheck to paycheck. But, and I know we'll get off our high horse, but I was trying to explain to my 9-year-old what the government shutdown meant, why he saw me on TV helping bring food to our federal, workers. And so he asked me, he's like, Mom, whose fault is this? And I said, well, and that is such a loaded question to explain to a 9-year-old. Mm-hmm. I said, it's everyone's fault. And I told him, I said, it is everyone's fault. And I try to break it down into kid terms. I was like, when you and your brother fight and I just can't seem to find a common ground between you two, that's what it feels like right now, is that, and we know people are acting like children out there, but they're fighting. And trying to explain that to a 9-year-old. And I told him, I was like, if we can't get through this, because we have a relative not being paid right now. And he's like, but Mom, she fought for her country. She was in the military. And I said, I know, buddy. And she's not being paid. And that was just so heartbreaking. He's like, Mom, do we need to fire Trump? Do we need to do this? Do we need to do that? And I started laughing. I'm like, please don't go to school and tell people I said that, because that is not what I'm saying.
Right.
But I told him, I said, buddy, this is just a good lesson that this is where people do need to learn to compromise. And that's really hard to explain to a 9-year-old.
Well, and I think part of it too is we need to plan. I mean, if you looked at this like a business, and again, I have always hated we need to run a government like a business. No, that's not possible. You don't want me running your fire department, right? Because then I'm out in front of your burning house going, well, if you just sign this contract and swipe your credit card, we'll start working on the fire, because that's how business works, right?
Where's your insurance?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. But in all honesty, if it were, there are some business principles that you need to apply to the government. I mean, we have our GDP is $30 trillion. We're $39 trillion in debt. That means we're going in the hole faster than we're getting out. And we have been by every single president, Congress, Senate for the last, well, Bill Clinton was the only one that actually paid down some of our debt.
Yep, late 90s.
Yeah, late 90s.
Well, and when you say it's everybody's fault, it really is. If you have not voted, it's your fault.
Yes.
That's one thing, right?
That's part of it.
No time to complain. I mean, Absolutely. It just goes down the whole thing. But there are 500 and some buffoons in Washington, or what are they called?
Oh no,
Congressmen
buffoons. Absolutely.
in DC that are causing this problem. I mean, at some point, it's like, come on, people.
Yeah, they're politicians. They're not representatives. But I mean, I know we're going down the political road here, and that's not what we do. But again, I look at it and go, imagine if you're a business and you do $30 million worth of revenue and you have $39 million in debt. What's your business worth? Nothing.
Yeah.
You cannot sustain this. And when you take the government into it, it's not only are you 39 million in debt, but you're also handing out bonuses and raises all along the way because they're spending money because it's money. Not their it's not.
And the other thing,
money.
you don't shut the spigot of revenue off when you're in trouble.
Right.
I mean, that's like one of the worst things. That's what makes no sense to me at all. It's like, hey, our business is having some trouble. You know, we don't have as many people flying out of Lincoln as possible. Let's just ground the flights.
Yeah.
Let's just till it gets
take
better.
our ball and go
Let's
home.
just see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's so bizarre. Needs to stop.
It does. It really does. And it will soon enough. I mean, everybody is blaming each other out all along the way. And it's when the opposite parties are in control, the government, it's every year. It's every year. And
the threat is certainly there every year.
In marketing, I always use the government shutdown as a marketing principle when I talk to people. When you're doing whatever the sale is, the President's Day sale, do people even hear that anymore? Because you've been doing a President's Day sale for the last 80 years, right?
What company did I just get an email from that the Black Friday specials are out?
What?
Yeah, I'm like,
they do sales on Black Friday?
Means nothing to me.
It doesn't
anymore.
mean a thing.
Yeah.
It's white noise. And this is what the government shutdown is for me. Government's going to shut down. Okay, do it. Go ahead, do it. I dare you.
Big whoop.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
It's going to again.
Well, I think that's the thing is like, I was even talking to the media this week who was covering, the story of watching, us giving meals out and things like that. And one of the reporters, younger, she's like, thank you for having a positive story for us to cover.
Yeah.
But she goes, I've kind of become desensitized to it. And that is 100% what you guys are talking about is you just hear it so much. Like you said, all the sales, but then you just hear all these government shutdowns and you just become desensitized. And then, I was talking to hospitality students and I was like, hey, how many of you even know we're going through a government shutdown? I mean, the amount of hands that did not go up is actually very scary.
Right.
But also when Vernetta was laughing because she's like, maybe I should cover current events in my class. And I said, I just don't think your college kids, shouldn't say they don't care. That they're just not paying attention.
It's not even on their radar.
It's not on their radar.
In so many cases as well.
Yeah. But again, like I said, I mean, the business lesson is don't cry wolf, right? Because government shutdown doesn't mean anything to anybody anymore. And two, you have to start paying attention to your numbers. I mean, this is a cash flow problem. And I understand why they're shutting the government down because we're out of money.
Yeah.
You want to complain about your taxes? I do every day. And there's a reason because we're out of money and my taxes are going up.
Yeah, I want to pay less taxes. We'd all like to pay less taxes. Do you know what I'm more bothered about? The way they spend the taxes I do pay. I think at the end of the day, that's the deal. We need taxes, obviously, right? We have roads to drive on. We need to make sure there's runways that are landable. I mean, you can go on and on about it, but for me, it's more like, it's the way it's wasted that just floors me. So it's like gets back to the whole non-essential employee thing. I'm like, that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, the non-essential employees right now are in Congress, right?
Right, and they're still getting paid.
Are they
getting
getting paid? That does not surprise me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm irritated now, so let's go to a break. And we're back on the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We're talking with Rachel Barth from the Lincoln Airport. This segment is brought to us by Mendoza Family Insurance, Western National Bank. Love those guys. T-shirt and jeans guys. And Red Rhino Roofing, who are actually on the roof of one of my houses this morning. I mean, as much as I talk about those guys, we had a big storm that rolled through Panama a while back. So I own a few houses in Panama. They've been busy, but Steve saved me so much just by being such a good rep. Well, the first one, this house that I bought, I called him up and I go, Steve, this thing has like 10 layers of shingles on it. And he goes, yeah, no, it doesn't. I go, no, Steve, this thing has like 10 layers of shingles on it. So you better bid this appropriately because you're going to be peeling shingles off of this puppy dog for a while. And he goes, oh, don't worry about it. And so he was up there and he starts peeling. He goes, "Oh my God, there's like 10 layers of shingles on this thing."
You're like, it's weird. It's like I told you.
Dude, I told you. He
That's
goes, "How can this house bear the weight?"
Yeah.
Because it's like an inch and a half of
Yeah.
shingles.
Yeah.
Why?
And
And why?
Yeah,
it's less expensive each
Yeah.
time than tearing them off.
Well, when I bought the house, the
Oh,
lady
okay.
goes, "The roof doesn't leak." And I look up at the roof and there's shingles missing. I'm like, there is no way this roof doesn't leak.
Unless
Roof
you have
doesn't leak
10 layers of
because you got
shingles.
10 layers of shingles
Yep.
on it.
Yep.
But Steve,
That's actually really funny.
I told him, I go,
It
bid it
is.
appropriately. He bid it and he goes, "No, we'll eat the cost on that because that was my fault." And then yesterday, because I bought class 4 shingles, which look like every other class of shingle, he went over there and he looked and he goes, "Hey, wait a minute. These are class 3 shingles," and made them show up, swap them out, redeliver them.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I would have never known.
Yeah.
I would have
Right.
never known. And then this morning he calls me, he goes, "Hey, come down. I need you at the house." I'm like, "Oh man, this is going to be bad news." Because he was going to redeck this house. And he goes, "This doesn't need decked." And he's showing me, some of the things on the house going, "Hey, this is really good. That's good. We need just a little bit of repair and it's going to save you a couple of grand." Who does that?
Right.
I mean, I
Steve.
already signed a contract.
Who doesn't upsell?
Yeah.
Right.
Thank
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
Right? That's
He's
awesome.
looking out. So if you guys need roofing, I think he's done a little bit of work for you, hasn't
Yeah,
he?
one of my clients. Yeah.
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 Talk to Red Rhino.
Where the
Call Steve.
security installer accidentally drilled 3 holes in the roof.
Oh, that's handy. How did that work out?
Yeah, worked out really great.
Was that
Came in,
good?
He goes,
Worked out for
"Hey, I
Steve.
accidentally drilled some holes in your roof."
How do you accidentally drill a hole in
Purposely,
the roof?
like 1, maybe 2,
Just run around on the roof with a drill
It's
running.
like when my kids a couple weeks ago were like, "Mom, we accidentally lost your wedding ring. Why do you even have my
Hold on.
wedding ring?" Yeah,
Did we
phrases you
accidentally
don't wanna
find
hear.
your wedding ring
You
yet?
have no idea how long it took us to find it. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, at least you found it.
right away. It's like, don't tell
We
dad.
Oh, yeah.
Shannon lost her wedding ring, and this was forever ago. And I mean, we're talking. I go, "Where did you lose it?" She goes, "I have no idea."
Yeah.
She goes, "I think I was maybe in the garden working, and it just slid off." Because Shannon lost a lot of weight, so her ring,
Sure.
she had
super
like a little
loose.
plastic thing on it,
Yeah.
Trying to make it fit.
and
Yeah.
she thinks it just slid off.
Oh no, my
And-
boys were playing dress up. Like
Oh.
two little boys went into our bedroom, put on, and they're gonna hate that I told this story, but they literally were like putting on like my dresses and high heels
Oh,
and thought
my
it was
goodness.
hilarious.
Yeah, I
And you know
love it.
those ones that come out like senior time and you show their girlfriends in the t-shirt.
Oh,
And they were
yes.
putting
Perfect.
on like my grandma's old jewelry and they grabbed my wedding ring.
Oh no!
And they were walking around. Well, again, I have a little 6-year-old with a wedding ring on, and he's just walking through the house, thinks he's hilarious, and it went flying off. And he
Oh,
didn't tell
man.
me. And so later, I go to put it on, and it's gone.
Well, luckily, we're not telling this, live on the radio or anything
No,
like
it's
that.
fine.
So
They
he's
don't-
not going to need
they don't-
therapy or
They
anything
don't listen
when
to
he's
the
older.
402 Business Insider. He's 6.
Oh my God.
He's all he cares about is YouTube
Oh.
and 6-7 stupid videos like that. So we're
There
good.
you go. Exactly.
I love it. Well, in case the listeners didn't know, about a week and a half ago, something like that, had a
Yep.
big announcement from the airport. So exciting. Got some new routes coming.
We do. Super excited. I think I was on here, I don't know, a few months ago talking about
Yep.
Breeze
Yeah.
and our new routes to Orlando, which was a huge win for us. But things have been going so well that they are adding Vegas, which everyone is really excited about.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Huge route for us.
Yeah.
And then what they call a Breeze Thru, or what I call same plane, to Orange County. So
Oh, wow. I like that
huge-
Breeze Thru. That's clever.
Yeah, they call it a Breeze Thru. Kind of some people in the industry call it same plane because really what happens is you can get on the plane from Lincoln, you go to Vegas, right? You can get off because you're going to, that's your destination, but you can actually book a flight from Lincoln to Orange County. And that plane will stop in Vegas, pick up additional passengers and be on its
Take
way.
off.
There you go.
So,
And you don't have to get off the plane and play
Cor-
the slot machines that are tight as a drum.
correct. Yes.
So
yes.
that way you're not
At the
going to lose any
airport.
money.
But you guys, like from Lincoln, we can now get to the West Coast.
How
Like
exciting
this
is
is so
that?
exciting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
And
that's
I've been
amazing.
dreaming of this day to like say this, so I'm
I'll
excited.
bet.
That's cool.
And so you have data from when we had Redway, right? So you probably knew that's a great route.
Yeah.
And I remember when we talked to you about the Breeze first coming to town, you were talking about additional routes depending on the success of Orlando. So obviously that's successful.
Yep.
And then this is a good next step. Vegas and then Orange County. Can you tell us what maybe the third most popular Redway route was? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So when you look at Redway, for sure, Vegas and Orlando were our top markets.
Right.
I actually think what would have happened in December of Redway, which was Phoenix and Tampa, I think those would have been up there. We just hadn't we started selling tickets, but then obviously we all know what happened. So I think those probably would have been the next ones to come.
I think Phoenix for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many snowbirds and just in conferences down there in Phoenix, and it's not just Phoenix, it's Scottsdale, it's everything around.
Yeah,
there.
and I think
Sedona,
Phoenix, Phoenix, Vegas were both, a toss up, but Vegas for Breeze makes a lot of sense. They already fly there. I think they have a base there, and they're really focusing on Orange County. A lot of those ULCC, airport or planes and stuff, and they're starting to pull out of some of those other airports in the LA area and Burbank because it's so expensive.
Oh yeah.
And so they're focusing on other airports. So it's great that Orange County is now something that we're gonna see on our map.
I love it.
That's awesome. Well, we have a hard break coming up here, so we're gonna have to run to that real quick. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We're talking with Rachel Barth. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the study, the impact study, because I've told people so many times how important an airport is to a city, but they just can't make it tangible. And we're back on the 402 Business Insider. This segment is brought to us by James Arthur Vineyards and Lincoln Coin and Bullion. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, and we're talking with Rachel Barth from Lincoln Airport today.
Hello.
We were just chatting about our new service that's coming to Lincoln. Very exciting. And now I want to talk. We've talked about this before. I know David and I talked about this when he came in and talked. You and I've talked about this when you were on the show. Trying to get people to understand how important the airport is. It's hard for people to wrap their brain around because you just think the airport is like, oh, it's like the bus station. What is the bus station? It's different. It really has a massive impact on a community. And years and years ago, I read about Dallas-Fort Worth when they rebuilt Dallas, the DFW in between the two cities, and how the population exploded because the impact was massive.
Right.
And I was excited to see that this study was being done, and now the information is just kind of coming out to us. So I thought this is a perfect time. Let's get Rachel on. Let's talk impact.
And I was going to compliment you for that in the first place, doing the study, because it makes a great deal of sense. I don't think people really think about the economic impact. Not only that, I mean, they're just thinking about, oh, we need more of this or more of that or whatever, but it is huge.
Yeah.
I read these numbers and I about fell off my chair.
Yeah, it's shocking. I mean, it really is. And before we dive into the numbers, one of the things I always like to talk about is, and I think we might have talked about it before, is people are always like, well, why didn't we back in the day build an airport between Omaha and Lincoln, right? Like, why didn't we build one in Ashland? And there's a lot of theories around why it didn't happen. But at the end of the day, neither community, Omaha or Lincoln, wanted to give up that economic
they don't
impact.
want to give control.
Right.
And I now can look at this study that was done by the University of Nebraska, Dr. Thompson, which we were just talking about, and say, this is why. Because if you don't support your airport, you don't care about your airport, you don't support the jobs and the growth that we are doing behind the scenes, this is what Lincoln is going to miss out on. And it's a big deal.
And I would say, I mean, it would have been smart for Lincoln and Omaha to build an airport in between the two cities 30, 40 years ago. It would have been brilliant. That window is passed. So for everybody who loves that argument, it's never going to happen now. No. It is not going to happen.
You can't afford to do that.
No. It'd be
can't
immense.
build an airport.
Oh, it'd be huge.
You can't build a new airport. I'm sorry. You just can't.
The land acquirement, I mean, closing roads, the amount of work and money, it would run billions of dollars.
But hopefully in the future, they will build the spaceship landing pad between Omaha.
I think they're putting that in Panama.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
In Panama. Oh, yeah. You bringing that to Panama?
Right.
You're the mayor down there.
That's my big push.
That's a whole other podcast.
That's right.
Well, let's get into the study. So
all right.
What are some of what's the big 35,000 foot view?
Sure. So when we kind of digested this study, how I look at it is really there's three buckets. So you have your daily airport activity. So think of your airlines like Breeze, who's coming in and they're bringing new routes. Yay. Think about your rental cars and then just like the jobs that those bring into the community. Second, then you have your construction and your upgrades. So think about our new terminal building. Think about the runway project that we've brought up. I mean, that's an $85 million project that we're hiring people to do. And so that's kind of secondly. And then third, we have these, we have these trips and we have all these other things, like we get PFCs and everything. And then we have this other little thing, which isn't a little thing. We have this industrial park that people always forget about. We are so incredibly fortunate to have the industrial park as revenue for the Lincoln Airport, because we have so many amazing tenants out there, and I could even list them all out, but they are paying rent and leases, and we're leasing ground to farmers or even some nonprofits, but everybody pays something, and so we're getting revenue from them as well, and we're counting their jobs and the military. So overall, everything, when you add it all up together, is over $1 billion in economic impact.
That is incredible.
Isn't that crazy?
B with a billion.
Yeah, exactly.
Just want to make sure I reiterate that.
I would not have. That blew my mind.
Yeah, and hundreds of jobs.
Yeah,
and that's the other thing that people, and we're not talking like temporary jobs. These are permanent, full-time,
then
year-round jobs.
Duncan and everybody else out there that's
huge
adding
employer.
all of those jobs out there. I showed a house out in Air Park the other day, and I was like, there is the airport land, the amount of land around the airport is huge. It's almost like we've built it, now come. There's room too for expansion. It's just incredible.
Yeah, and I would say we put much more of a concerted effort this last year really into that. I mean, we talked about the board coming together, making a strategic plan, and how are we going to market this industrial park, and how are we going to piecemeal this together. We've just landed a huge tenant. We've talked about Timpty Trailers. They built this beautiful new $20 million facility, probably 20 million more in just machines inside of that facility. They could easily grow, which they are looking to. I mean, they're planning to grow and expand just like Duncan has. So we almost now have a blueprint for these companies to come and say, hey, this is how Timpty did it, or this is how these companies have done it. And that's the hope, is that more industrial-like companies that bring really, really good paying jobs come to Lincoln and utilize what we have. And so, in the past, we've talked about the property tax and what that goes to. I mean, yes, we're using some of it for subsidizing airlines to, again, get more people to fly out of Lincoln, because that's huge for us. But also some of that tax revenue is also helping to pay to keep our industrial park updated. I mean, we have roads out there and bridges and sewer and electrical and all that stuff we're in charge of, because we're like our own little mini city out at the airport, and people tend to forget that.
Yeah. The thing that really kind of surprises me, because I was just out, you guys had the Halloween thing a few weeks back, which my wife drugged me to.
It was a little cold.
It was a little chilly.
But it was awesome. Yes. You and Shannon were great Ghostbusters.
Yes. Yeah. Shannon was a ghost and I was a Ghostbuster, and
it was cute. Yeah. It was cute.
And then and Todd was out there. Calfee, he was out there.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he dressed up though.
No, he was just
Calfee.
Western National. That's all he was.
That's funny.
But when we were driving out, because we came in, Shannon did the whole Google Maps thing, right? So then it takes you around, like going to the airport and then around general aviation, and then you do the complete circle. I'm like, why didn't you just say go to Air Park? Oh, I didn't know that's where it was. Anyway, but as we were leaving, I haven't been through Air Park in quite a while.
It's interesting.
It's really nice. I mean, they're building some nice buildings. There's some new restaurants out there. And it's like, I could do without the weird little crossover thing going under I-80. That's strange, but that's not the airport.
I guess
but it works well.
Does
actually.
It?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've driven through it a lot. The expansion out there, of course, because of the high school as well. But
the high school's driven so much.
What do you think of Air Park, right? And just west of that, the amount of growth out there, you'd be shocked if you went out and saw the developments out there.
Yeah.
And they're gonna pave, hopefully, if Pam can get this through, Northwest 56th from all the way up into the school. And once that's done, I think that whole area is even gonna boom further.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, but what surprises me is most housing developments, neighborhoods around airports are not great places.
No.
Air Park's really nice.
Yeah. I mean, on purpose, right? Like back in the day, they built airports outside of the main cities because of noise abatement issues.
Right.
And,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, like us, we're an Air Force base. There was really loud planes and people didn't like to live around it. But we've done a great job of building some really nice things out there. Taking care of the infrastructure is huge because once you start showing these businesses that it can be nice and to attract that talent to want to move to Lincoln. I mean, Timpty not only built there, they're now bringing in hundreds of jobs. So think about it.
Right.
Those people you just said earlier,
Mhm.
you have 1,000 houses on the market. Well, Timpty, they're not replacing people in David City. This is new
Yeah,
jobs.
they're not shutting
Yeah.
down their
They're not
plant.
shutting
No.
down anything. These are
Exactly.
new jobs.
Yeah.
Sky West, one of our new maintenance spaces, is now taking over that entire hangar. Duncan is booming. I mean, we know they hire 1,500 employees. I mean, we're getting new businesses. And one of my favorite things to do is when I'm talking to students about our industrial park, one of my kind of slides on my, PowerPoint is which one of these is a tenant at the Lincoln Airport, and it's State Crime Lab, cereal manufacturer, community crops, or and then I throw some random one out there like Hexagon, and the kids always guess and all this stuff. It's actually all of
All
them.
of them.
All of
Yeah.
it. I know the
And-
state crime labs.
Yeah.
I
I
know
knew the
because I've
cereal
been out there.
company.
Yeah, see,
Guess-
and
yeah.
that's what's funny.
Because when you
people are like,
become a realtor, you have to be fingerprinted and you do it out there. It's like,
Yes.
Oh,
where
yeah.
am I going?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
what?
And it's so interesting driving out there and seeing
Mhm.
all these different businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that we do is so cool. And I love emailing them and being like, this is who I am. Can I come see your manufacturing plant, or can I come do this? And the cereal manufacturer is super cool. I mean, they're doing all these cereals that are, gluten-free or peanut-free here in Lincoln.
Yeah.
And I mean, community crops. I mean, like just all these businesses rely on the airport. And even though it might be really small what they lease from us, it's still a big deal. And I
Sure.
think that's what I want people to remember is when you fly local and support local, you're supporting jobs, but that's what, like, when you fly, right, and you see that little, if you ever look at your ticket and it says a PFC, passenger facility charge, and it's like $4.50. That's like what the airport actually gets. It's not a lot.
Yeah.
Out of your ticket, we only get like $4.50. It's not a lot of money,
Yeah.
but that's the kind of revenue we do use to help pay for things, just like parking. That's some of the few revenue that the airport actually gets. So we're lucky that we have amazing tenants and have all this land, because so much of what we survive off of is actually non-aeronautical revenue.
Now, in this impact study, one curious thing I was always wondering was, I know what the city of Lincoln, what taxpayers are putting
Mhm.
into the airport,
Yeah.
and compared to other major airports or even moderate sized airports, the amount of money taxpayers are putting in is a fraction of what they do in other cities.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
And is that part of the economic impact study? Because I didn't get to read all the way through it.
That's a good question. I might have to dig into that a little bit more too. Are you talking about like the tax portion
Yeah.
of the property
Yeah,
tax?
what do we pay versus other cities that
Yeah.
are our size?
That's a good question. I don't know if Dr. Thompson did that, since we just did this study and
Yeah.
just started collecting on that this
Mhm.
last year. So I don't know. So it'd be interesting to see. I will tell you, you're right on with that. It's very small what we pay here compared to a lot of other cities, and also we're an authority versus like a municipality. Where, like, think about Kansas City Airport, they're having to share what they make, but also whatever pool of money that their mayor says that they can have to fund the airport is competing with roads and it's the
Everything
DOT and
else.
everything else. So you're having to spread that out everywhere. And if you're the airport, you're saying, hey, I need this, I need that. And you can easily get lost in whatever is happening in that community, where ours is,
true.
this is separate. And that's what's really nice about us not having to compete for those funds.
Yeah.
Because that is a way that why we're able to do an $80 million runway project. Because I mean, and we're hoping, knock on wood, this winter we're kind of trying to figure out what we're going to do, like a groundbreaking ceremony for the runway project, because the military is so darn excited about it, because they are going to continue to get to operate out of the Lincoln Airport, because we're investing in the runway, which is such a big deal, because that's the air refueling wing. I mean,
Yeah,
we
sure.
need to keep them here so they can continue to do their missions. And so also it's like, hey, we hear you. We hear that you need this. And also, like, why should the community care about that? Because the military is a huge employer.
Yeah,
right?
big
Have you
employer
gone up
here.
in one of those air refueling planes?
I have.
I have too.
I
Yeah.
have.
It
yes.
is so awesome. So awesome. Before
Also
COVID,
very uncomfortable.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
tell
you
people,
realize
chilly.
I would
It
not
is
want to ride to
cold,
Iraq in this thing.
and
I
it
can
is
tell you that
not
right now.
comfortable. So
No.
just super cool, but
No.
not comfortable and very
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah, but when you lay down and watch how they
The
refuel,
boom,
we
yeah.
refueled F-14s over the Colorado Rockies, and they were live. They were doing a live training that day, and it was so cool.
Yeah.
We refueled 4 of them, but they stopped doing that during COVID. Are they doing that again? Do you know? I wonder how you get people into that.
Yeah.
Just say 2 random guys on the radio wanted to go
Wanted
do
to
that
do that.
again.
That's
Yeah.
a really good question. I was invited by Offutt to go. I was able to fly to Tucson
Cool.
with
Oh, wow.
with some of the like his civilian group from Offutt Air Force Base. I was kind of a special guest, and so that's why I got to go on one.
Oh,
I don't know
cool.
why you got to go on one, but
It was there was a while there where they
were doing
brought
like maybe
business
public
community
ones. Okay.
leaders out there
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that hopefully you would talk to, people. I know one of my brokers wants to go really bad, and of course we have tons of realtors, so young people too that they talk about. But anyway, I just think it was so cool.
Yeah, we got to do it. We got to do it was the stealth bombers that we refueled.
Oh,
That
yes,
was
they do
really
those
cool.
sometimes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is okay.
Yeah,
you
that was
win. You
crazy
win.
awesome.
Yeah, that's what we were supposed to do. We were told, and then the day of, they go, well, they don't always announce when they're doing the live training, but they are today. So part of the live training is refueling. So we're going to refuel over the road. I'm like, oh, fine, no problem. This is cool.
When I got to do it, I went up into the cockpit and was just kind of chatting with them. They were actually doing a check ride. And so I just wander in. Here I am adding stress, just chatting it up, chatting with the pilots. And the pilot loved it because his check airman was kind of chatting with me too. So I think I took a little bit of the testing pressure off of him because we were just hanging out.
It hit me while we're up in the air. I'm like, man, there's a lot of fuel in that. Like, this plane is all fuel. So I was literally like, when he's putting the extension out to attach the other plane, I'm like, our Father who art in heaven, who is not going to let this plane blow up. Please, I'm sorry for everything I did. Okay, we're good.
Well, here's what got me as a past pilot. You have to think everything is weight and balance, right? And they call it flying in the envelope. Well, you have one plane that's uber heavy and one plane that's really light, and you're transferring that weight from one to the other, and you have to stay connected the whole time. And I'm just sitting there asking questions nonstop because how do you, because every time you lose 10 pounds, doesn't sound like a lot. It makes a difference.
And when it's liquid, it's huge. So Tom involved with trucking, out at Crete, the truckers that haul, milk or fuel or anything like that. And those, we see those round trucks, they're actually the most hazardous vehicles because liquid, when it moves, it's huge. You think then now you're in a plane and we regress from the study.
Yes.
No,
sorry.
you're good.
Yes, that
you're
was me,
good.
Mr. Random.
Hey, you know what? People get on tangents about planes. Trust me, I work in an airport. I hear about it all the time.
Well, we got a break coming up here. So a lot more questions about this impact study when we come back. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We're talking with Rachel Barth from LNK Airport, and we will be back. And we're back on the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, talking with Rachel Barth from the LNK Airport. This segment is brought to us by Complete Family Dermatology and the UPS stores. And this, of course, is our 5 takeaway segment. So when and this is sponsored by Nebraska Farmers Network. And so when you look at this impact study, what are the 5 big things that you took away from it?
Yeah. So it's a lot of things, but to kind of mull it down into 5 things, I think one is connectivity creates jobs. And so that was like a highlight I noticed was every airplane that takes off supports local employment, and not just employment here, but across the industry, right? Because there's businesses that have other businesses all across the country. And think about how many people work remote and now can travel and work wherever. So that is one thing that I think is just really important. Every plane that takes off supports our economy and supports local employment.
And it's amazing to think how deep those fingers run. Because I was talking with Lori Fraser, who has Doorstep Diner.
Love her.
And she does catering. And she goes, well, Lincoln's a big fuel stop for people who are, going across the country. And she gets a lot of catering orders.
Yep.
Yeah, she's in my Centers for Group. And one morning she's like, oh, I had 3 planes or something. And I'm like, are you traveling again? She goes, no, that we brought food to. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's huge.
And 10 or 11% of our travelers are international travelers.
Really?
We have a
That-
higher percentage
what?
of.
That
Yep,
kind
we
of
have
surprises me
Are
because we're not
you-
an international airport.
Nope, we're
What
not.
is in that mug you have?
You don't know.
That's shocking.
Hey, it is a selling point for me when I'm talking to airlines. 10 to
Absolutely.
11% of our total passengers are international travelers. Those are people spending high dollar on their
Yeah,
flights. I think
surprising.
the reason for that is just one, the R1 University here, and then two, we're a huge refugee population here in Lincoln.
True.
We can't really figure out what else it is, but it's higher than Omaha, so we have a lot of international travelers, which
thinking
is pretty
last
cool.
2 times we went over the pond, we left here.
Yeah.
Just because
our
we're
flights
like,
are just as affordable out of Lincoln.
Ooh,
And you
yes.
have to connect.
Anyway,
So you're
yeah.
going to connect anyway. You might as
Yeah.
well connect locally.
Right,
So
yeah.
those are cool. I love talking about the international passenger because airlines love it.
Do we know, is there a specific region or it's just kind of a hodgepodge of people?
Once they connect out, I don't know if we know exactly where they're going. I would
okay.
have to ask, but I don't think so. I don't think we have what their end destination necessarily
There's
is.
not going to be any nonstops to London anytime
Unfortunately, no. No. Capital investment drives growth. So we talk about the terminal upgrades, which that was a $56 million project. We talk about the new runway project, going to be right around $85-90 million. That generates almost 480 jobs, just those 2 projects.
Wow.
So again, capital investment, huge for airports. Some of that is coming from like AIP funding through the FAA. Some of it is local stuff. Those are huge because we have to hire people to do those projects.
Yeah, real people, real jobs,
real
real
people,
money.
real
Yeah, big
jobs.
thing.
I think constructors is who's going to be doing our runway project. They're local, but then obviously they'll have subcontractors. So, when we did the runway or when we did the terminal project, it was Samson Construction. So, we also are trying to make sure that we're also looking at those local people as well, because we want to keep those jobs local and keep those dollars local. So that's big for us. The third thing would be the air park multiplier. So again, you start adding in, all the industrial tenants, and then you look at even like Duncan Aviation, who has tons of buildings over in the industrial park. You look at the military, you look at all those different businesses. Travis, you said you got you almost lost over there driving around. We've talked about Timty Trailers and the State Crime Lab and HTI Plastics, and I can just go on and on and on. What the industrial park brings to us is for economic impact is over $1 billion.
Yeah.
And that's just huge.
And people rarely think of that when they think LNK. They
No.
don't really think about that piece of the puzzle, which is huge.
Huge.
I mean, that's 3 huge anchors, right? The military, Duncan, Tempty, and then everything else on top of that. Plus, there's room for growth out there, unless I'm blind. I see the land and I'm going, there's
tons of opportunity,
room, which is great. I mean, I would think that attracting businesses to that could be a huge factor in the continued growth of the airport.
It is in a huge, something we're really focusing on. And then the last 2 points I want to make are kind of those like, there's some data, but also it's kind of that feel good stuff of like why you choose to fly Lincoln first. And one of that is business retention. So we talk about the business community and why they should invest and care about the airport. So when we did this huge survey and we gave that survey to Dr. Thompson to include that into the study, what we found from the businesses that we did the survey on was over 60% of them said that they benefit directly from having an airport in the community. 60%.
Sure.
So whether that's, they're bringing clients in, they're sending employees out. I mean, that's a big chunk of employers that need us. And that's huge.
And for the employers, time is money. I mean, if you've got your people driving to another city to hop on a plane and eating up all that in time in between
and parking
the whole ball of wax, they can hop on a plane here, but they can work on the airplane till they get to their destination. That's huge.
Yeah. And then the last thing that really struck home to me is that quality of life. I think that's something us as Nebraskans really cherish, is just, we love our quality of life. We love, that about Lincoln and our airport. And something that what struck home to me is Lincoln residents who use the airport save 87,000 hours a year in travel by choosing local.
Yeah.
Oh, Travis, that's work-life balance.
That's right.
He
and
hates that.
I
You're
am
never gonna let me
I like how you worded it so much better. I'm looking at him over there going, "Oh, this
You
is
see
good."
the red line going up.
I don't think that's even a term.
No such thing.
No such thing.
I love it.
But it is so important for those employers, because it can be dangerous. I mean, gosh, we live in Nebraska who has really bad winters, and you're sending your employees an hour or two up the road, maybe during the winter to catch a flight,
Yeah.
a 6 a.m. flight. That means they have to leave Lincoln at 4 or earlier, probably earlier to get through security and parking. And so there is even a safety factor into that, but you can be through security in 20 minutes, Lincoln, especially now that you don't have to take your shoes off. Parking is simple. You get, you can carry on. I mean, just that convenience alone comes so much through this economic impact study, and the fact that we can save businesses here money by them flying their employees local is what the airport's for.
Yeah.
Good. I just say I would love to see similar impact studies for airports that are about our size, because we were kind of talking about Akron Canton Airport, which is, I mean, it's closer to Cleveland than we are to Omaha, and how thriving that community is, and how that airport brings a massive amount of money to the community. I would love to see what impact studies other cities similar to us get from their airport, because like I said, people really don't understand what an airport brings to the table and how it helps our community thrive. And I remember when they were talking about raising the levy at the airport and people were complaining about it, I go, that's not what you complain about. I complain about taxes all the time. But that's
you don't complain.
I know.
Maybe not on the air.
But that's one you shouldn't complain about because it's so low. But people don't understand. They just see a tax bill and they go, what am I getting for that? Well, you have to understand. And what I think people really need to understand is what they could be getting if we really invested in our airport.
Oh, you can see that number grow drastically if you start seeing our number of enplanements go up, the number of tenants building at the airport. I mean, that's our goal, right? We want to continue. And here's the thing, we're not landlocked like a lot of other airports. I mean, Omaha really is out on their own little island out there. You're stuck. They're not going to be able to grow. We can. We have 5,000 acres. We can grow.
Yeah.
Well, let's touch base on some of that after the break here on the other end of this break. And another thing I'd like to ask is, has there ever been an impact study of the airport economically for the city before? Or is this the first? Let's talk about that on the other end here. But anyway, you're listening to the 402 Business Insider. You can find us on the web at 402insider.com, where you can register to be a guest if you'd like to be on our show. Sometimes it's just a conversation. It's easy and simple, and we'll see you on the other side.
We're back on the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, talking with Rachel Barth from the Lincoln Airport, who's actually sponsoring this segment.
Hey, look at
that.
Nice.
And also Integrated Behavioral Health Services. And this segment is called This Needs an Adjustment, which is sponsored by Ascend Chiropractic. So in this segment, we just talk about things that happen within business that you go, hey, this was good. We need more of it. We're going to adjust to go in that direction. Or, hey, this happened. It was not good. We're going to change the direction. Was there anything in this impact study that made you go, that's interesting? More of that or less of that? Or was there anything that really jumped out at you?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the over $1 billion of economic impact, which we definitely do not talk enough about. And like you said, you must fell out of your chair. But really, I think it is focusing on that time and convenience and how the airport and having an airport here really does save time and money for local employers. Because really, at the end of the day, you both own businesses or ran businesses. Like everybody's looking for a way to do that, but also reminding those employers that when you are encouraging your employees to fly local, I mean, those choices that you're making with your travel policies or encouraging your employees is literally tying back to local jobs and the local economy. And so it's like, when we start supporting each other and supporting local, really good things happen, and putting people first. That's what's important. And so I think there's definitely some marketing things I can do. I think there's some talking points our board can have out of this. I think there's some things we can adjust. Even, I'm not saying adjust our strategic plan, but definitely there's things out of this study we can take and just in general make adjustments, and honestly be more aggressive when we're going out and talking to potentially new businesses that want to come to Lincoln. I mean, hand this over to LPED here, right?
Like, did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know?
These facts out,
Yes.
I'm reading them at home doing this show prep, which is so rare I ever do. And Because I was really interested in it after you were in here the first time. Like, I really, because I brought it up a few weeks ago. I go, did that impact study come out? And I was just like, I did not know. And this was after speaking with you before, kind of going, oh, I got a bit of a grip on it. I have an idea of what the impact is. But to me, it's an incredibly unexpected impact. It's so much more. You were probably, I'm sure, much more aware of how much it was going to be, but I was shocked. And it's like, people need to know.
Yeah. And I think that's it, is just taking some of these key things, mulling it down and working to disperse that, right? Because people get hit so hard all the time with numbers. And, I'm not a CEO, so I don't know if this stuff is important to them. I like to think it is. But if you start treating the airport like it should be treated and utilizing the airport like it is part of your community and realizing that it is a true economic engine for our community. And if you, I'm going to get on my soapbox, but if you encourage your employees and your friends and family to use our local airport, we will get more airlines. We will get more routes. That is more PFC dollars. That is more parking. That is more people, buying concessions. That is just so many things get better when you have more flights and you have more tenants, because more people will start like buying houses here and more businesses will start coming here. I mean, we talked about cargo, like that's like the white whale, right? We want cargo here and they might come if they start seeing more of this. We're investing in the in the terminal. We did that. We're investing in the runway. So I feel like we're doing the things we need to do. But for so long, the airport has kind of flown under the radar. And again, I'm to blame. I'm the one that stepped up and said, hey, don't forget about us over here, whether good or bad. We've brought a lot of this to light, and people are starting to pay attention.
Yeah.
And that to me is super important.
Well, just for clarification, it is good.
It is good.
Yes.
It is very good. What you're doing is very good. I
Depends how you
highly
ask.
compliment you on that.
Yeah, and
For
that's
sure.
one thing I'll say that needs an adjustment in general is people's mentality.
Yes.
Because people
Yes.
are just so lost. I even saw, this was a while ago, we even had a politician griping that I can save $100 by going to Omaha. Well, then go. But you know what?
And move there. Please.
I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about. I might even just buy him a house.
Yes. But it's like you represent the people of this community and you have no understanding of what the impact of the airport is.
Yeah.
And what it does to more people, mean more taxes, mean more. I mean, it's just more growth, more everything that we want to happen. And you're going to go call out the airport for $100 bill. Get serious.
Right.
And I think that's something that needs an adjustment, is people's attitude and understanding. And we really need to do a better job. And I'm not saying you, I'm saying all of us need to do a better job of explaining how important the airport is to this community.
Well, I've heard you say several times, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people say that you don't know what you don't know. That's why I would do a marketing thing. Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Because I'm reading this go, I didn't know that. And I think I felt like I should have known that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And I mean, the number's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, $1 billion, that's not chump change unless you're working for the federal government.
When I read through,
or congressman, and you're going, it's just $5 trillion, no big deal. But anyway,
well, when I read through, and I didn't read all the way through it because it's like 27, 28 pages long. I got about halfway through it, and I was in aviation. And I'm sitting here going, wow. I mean, some of my brain was spinning on some of these numbers going,
wait, you're a pilot and you don't know everything?
Oh, I don't know anything. Yeah. I've always joked. Just because you're a pilot, people think you're an expert in aviation. You are absolutely not. You know how to move iron. That is it.
Yeah,
I can get you to the ground safely. Probably not anymore because it's been a while. Beyond that, I know absolutely nothing about aviation.
Words I don't want to hear a pilot say.
No.
I probably could get you through the ground. Okay.
I think this is going to be okay.
Yes, glad you're not piloting anymore, Travis.
Shannon, one time we were flying, and she's better now, but she used to be a really nervous flyer. Yeah. And we're going through some turbulence, right? And I'm like, it's nothing to me. It's like, I mean, heck, everybody should be used to it driving the roads in Lincoln, but that's another show. But you're going through CHOP and she's like, oh my gosh, this really makes me, she goes, if something was wrong with the pilots, do you think you could land this plane? I go, well, I could get it to the ground, but I don't know if any of us would survive.
Oh my Lord. Note to self, don't travel with Travis.
No, if you see Travis in uniform, get off the airplane quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always, whenever I get on an international flight, I'm like, oh dear Lord, gray hair. Yeah, great. Here's one of the pilots has gray hair. We're fine.
We're good. We're
That's
good,
terrible
right?
to
That's
say,
right.
but it's so true.
Yes. You want somebody very old up in that cockpit. Very cool. Well, that was This Needs an Adjustment, sponsored by Ascend Chiropractic. You know when things need an adjustment, you know when things aren't quite right. So if your back, your hand, I mean, you were talking, weren't you getting an ear adjusted? Didn't you get an ear or something like that adjusted?
I had vertigo for the past 3 weeks. And Monday, I finally had an adjustment that worked to get him back in whack. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Don't get vertigo. Vertigo sucks.
No kidding.
Don't pilot a plane when you have vertigo.
No.
Maybe just don't pilot a plane.
You know what's crazy about that? So when I was studying, I actually studied in Colorado. So we were real close to Embry-Riddle and and Colorado Springs, where the big Air Force Academy is. So we got to go down and kind of play with some of their toys. Ooh. And they have a vertigo, like there's inner hairs in your ear that will lay down differently, and they always teach you how to trust your instruments when you're flying. And it's kind of like a centrifuge kind of a thing. You're basically in a chair blindfolded, and they spin you around at different speeds.
Were you nauseous?
It's crazy, man. It didn't make me nauseous, but it's a wild experience.
Yeah, I was in the living room, and I'm like, oh, at least shut the fan off. And Tom's like, the fan's not on. Oh dear God. Stop. But anyway.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine, especially at this age, going through it. Because when I went through it, I was in my 20s. And it's like you're sitting there with a blindfold on. You go, well, I think we're turning left. No, you're sitting still. It's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Yeah. Unbelievable. Well, we have one more segment to go. Gary's got to run. He's got a house to show. So that's what happens when you sell houses for a living. Exactly. Trying to get more people in Lincoln. He's doing his job.
There we go.
So, but that's all right. Producer Steve will jump in if he has any questions. I love Steve. We've been working together for a while. So Travis filing Steve Hardesty on the 402 Insider. We're talking with Rachel Barth. We'll be back for one more segment. And we're back for the last segment of the 402 Business Insider. Travis filing. Gary had to run. He's got to go sell a house. So producer Steve is going to fill in for us. So Steve, if you have any questions for Rachel, now's your chance. We got 10 minutes.
All right.
Let's
see what I can think
This isn't like truth or dare, okay?
Not at all. So just in the last segment, this is sponsored by Barry Law Firm, the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. Love the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce, and Wyuka Cemetery. So we appreciate all our sponsors. We appreciate all they do for us. So in this last segment, we just kind of throw it out there and just chat. What's the future look like for the Lincoln Airport?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've brought him up before, but Kenneth Strickland is our consultant. He does air service development for us. And I actually had him just kind of high level give me some numbers of what we're looking at for like even Q1 of next year. So 2026, like what does this look like for Lincoln? One exciting thing that happened this year was United added capacity. So they added a flight to Denver in May, and then they added an additional flight to Chicago. So two huge wins just in that. So their capacity growing in Lincoln, seeing bigger aircraft, more frequency, music to my ears, and I'm sure every person that flies for business ears. So that's huge for us. So we're going to see an entire year, hopefully, of 2026 of additional flights just from United. Secondly, we have Breeze, right? And so we just announced some really exciting news with them. We're having Orlando starting in December, and then we're going to have Vegas and Orange County starting in April.
In April.
That's exciting. Additional capacity in the market. So when he was giving me these numbers, Kenneth, just a couple weeks ago, we were looking at 6,700 additional seats into Lincoln next year. That did not include all this new exciting stuff with Vegas and Orange County. So I'm sure it's going to be more, but that is already like a 20% jump for us Q1 if you compare us from 25 to 26. So as we know, the height of where we were at capacity wise and for employments was in 2019. I don't need to reiterate what happened in 2020. And then we've just been slowly digging ourselves back out, but it's been hard because we're traditionally a business market here in Lincoln. business did not rebound quite like the leisure market did. We now have Breeze. We're capturing more families. We're capturing more young professionals. And then United is now adding capacity back in. So, I mean, Lincoln is doing what they're supposed to be doing, filling the planes. We're getting more air service because of it.
And if we can start filling all these Breeze planes, then they're a big outfit. I had never heard of Breeze.
Yeah,
before.
and we hear that. I mean, and that's because we're the first airport in Nebraska. But it's funny because I obviously go to conferences all over the place. And I mean, everybody in Florida knows who Breeze is. We were talking about Akron, Canton. I mean, Breeze is the fastest growing airline in the entire country. They're in over 80 airports. I mean, you just go look them up. I mean, they are going gangbusters. They're growing. They have an A220 on order every month for the next however many years. And they are really impressed with Lincoln. And when we met with them, it actually felt like a partnership. And I really do feel like we weren't just getting like that lip service, that they are investing. And I think by adding Orlando and Orange County, I mean, even before we're starting these Orlando flights, shows that they're super excited about our market.
And their planes, this isn't piston. I mean, these are jet. These are big planes.
Yeah, 137 seats, nice aircraft. I mean, I'm talking Wi-Fi and family seating and first class option. I mean, these are really nice aircraft. So if you haven't had a chance to jump on breeze.com, look at their aircraft. They're beautiful. Now jump on their site, type in Lincoln, and you're going to see additional options out of our market to get you to really fun places.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that.
Well, and if you go to the website, go look at their route map and see all the cities that they service.
Absolutely.
And look who is smack dab in the middle of it. If we can support them
Yeah.
and we can fill those airplanes,
Yeah.
it's only a matter of time until they go, maybe we should add something to who knows where, Phoenix or Houston or Dallas or wherever it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
and that's the thing. Air service breeds air service. And that is something we have been pounding the pavement on for a long time. You see United growing, boom, we get Breeze. You see Breeze growing, boom, hopefully we see, additional capacity or even another carrier. I mean, because that would be great, right? I think ideally Lincoln deserves and we need probably those two legacy carriers. One, that competition helps drive down tickets, but two, it gets people to different hubs, which is what we always hear about, right? We love Chicago. We love Denver. You can get anywhere, honestly, in the world from those two hubs, but we don't really have that warm hub. It's hard to travel to those two places, especially if you're, flying somewhere warm and you might be a little concerned about your connection. Totally understand. So that's really what we're going to be working on in 2026 is that second legacy carrier, but really continuing to invest in United, those load factors and continuing to invest in Breeze and trying to really grow those markets. Because again, if we fill those planes, we will see additional routes in Lincoln, which is really exciting for everybody.
Well, and it's something a lot of people don't know is you can change airlines if you go to Orlando. Orlando's a big hub.
Yeah, it's huge.
Big. So if you're going to the Caribbean, you can actually save a lot of money if you fly into Orlando and then switch airlines.
Yeah.
Take American or whoever out of,
Well, and that's what we're seeing. I'm hearing so many people taking advantage of the one ways on Breeze because when they're coming out, I mean, those initial flights right away are $79, $89. I mean, even $100 one ways. And then maybe the day of the week doesn't work to come back. So then they just fly United back.
Yeah.
I mean, it still cuts down hugely on your travel. And then you couple that with our affordable parking, easily being able to travel through the airport. I mean, I travel with my kids all the time. It's so stressful going through a huge airport with them.
Yeah.
My boys love flying out of Lincoln. One, they know everybody, but two, it's so much less stress to travel through the airport and get through TSA and get through everything in just a matter of minutes. I don't have to wake them up at 3 a.m. because we can get up just an hour or two early and be at the airport and be on our flight and on our way. And to wake up in Orlando, I know my kids are excited. They're already planning their Disney trip. So
I haven't been to Disney in who knows how long, man. I'm glad my kids are all grown up because Disney looks stressful.
I know.
It just looks so stressful. But so I'm trying to think, where's Breeze's hub at?
Yeah. So, I mean, they have a couple bases across the country, but really they started in that Utah area. So,
Okay.
they have a lot of capacity, and I think they have a base in Provo. They're in Salt Lake, so that's kind of where they started. But you're starting to see some of their other bases pop up around the country. So, like again, they're growing and expanding, and they've kind of found their niches. They love those smaller secondary markets like Lincoln, because our costs are lower. It is more affordable for them to operate out of our airport than other airports. And so that's also really important for us, is to control that cost for them, because that's how we're going to keep them here. So super excited about them. We also talked about the runway project. That's going to be kicking off in January. So that's going to be a big move for us. I mean, really, that's taking down our primary runway for at least 18 months, if not a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And that's tough. And so we have a really good phased approach. We're working with the military. We're working with the tower and our commercial pilot, or our commercial tenants, to kind of know what that phasing is going to look like. But luckily, we have 3 runways in Lincoln, and our crosswind is also over 8,000 feet. So most of our commercial flights can land on there. The big deal is the ILS system. So that system will be down during the construction.
Oh, okay.
So, yep, depending on the instrument rating, that could be an issue.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say too, for our listeners, it is so important for them to fly out of Lincoln, because you guys don't get the government subsidies that most people don't.
Correct. Yes. So out of all the airports in Nebraska that have commercial flying, Omaha does not receive federal subsidies, and neither do we through the Essential Air Service program. So some of our other airports do. So, when we hear, well, why does Grand Island have more service than you? Or why not this? Why not that? That's because they are being federally subsidized by the Essential Air Service program. And they get millions and millions of dollars for those flights, and we do not.
So if we want air service to succeed, that means we have to show up. We have to be a willing participant in this equation.
Absolutely.
Because if we're not, then it's going to go away.
Yep, absolutely.
So very good. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting.
Thank you for having me. This has been so fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. Any questions? You got 30 seconds, Steve. You have any questions? No questions.
Oh, covered them all, Rachel. Great job.
Fly local, support local.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
We love it. Very good. Well, this is the 402 Business Insider, and we will see you guys next week.